In the most recent local and national election, did you cast a vote?
I did, yes.
You seem like a citizen who upholds his duty and votes in almost every election, right?
I do.
Do you ever write in people?
I do not.
Never.
No, there was somebody that was making a strong write-in presence around our area, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I don't think I'd ever written one in. I mean, what are the odds of somebody winning a write-in campaign? If somebody won with a write-in campaign anywhere in North Carolina, I would expect you to be on the story.
I don't think anybody. I mean, it's happened in Alaska, I believe, and a bunch of other but that's a prominent person. It's not just some guy.
One of the more interesting stories out of the election in North Carolina was a 21-year-old being elected to, tax collector of Haywood County, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
And you had an interesting interview with him, but he was not written in. He was officially on the ballot.
He was on
the
ballots, but he was very much so. The story is out in Haywood County. Haywood County, by the way, fun fact, you can impress literally anybody you meet with this story, I'm sure. Haywood County is the only county that still elects a tax collector in North Carolina. Everybody else is just part of, they appoint one. And so there was a Democrat that had been the tax collector there, and if you had to go off your tax collecting bona fides, he collected more taxes than anybody else. His rate of collection was very, very high. He was very, very good at his job, and in the last election, basically he was a Democrat running for office in Haywood County, and a 21-year-old college student that's finishing up his senior year at UNC Asheville decided, you know what? I'd like to run for that. I'm an accounting major. I like politics. I like money. I like taxes. I think I should do this. And lo and behold, he does it and he wins. Probably
by virtue of having an R next to his name in a county that was voting heavy Republican, correct?
And he will tell you, oh no, I campaigned, which he did. But this is his first campaign. He showed up for filing. He didn't realize this is kind of a big deal in Haywood County. You file.
When you file.
The newspaper was there. And so he files paperwork and he walks out, and the reporter's like, "Hey, I'm going to interview you now about your position on tax collecting, and also we're going to take a picture for you in the paper." So everybody else knows this. They usually show up looking good. He just shows up he's wearing a Fallout T-shirt and a flannel, and that becomes the picture they put on the front of the paper when he wins election and now is in charge of the $40 million of taxes that run through Haywood County.
He was just going the John Fetterman route. Just stick with what's not. Don't gussy up yourself just because the press is around. Just be yourself.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And now, by all accounts, he seems to be taking it seriously. It wasn't just hey, let's see if I can get my name on the ballot, and it was a big joke between me and my friends. Whether or not he'll be good is yet to be seen, but it didn't seem to be just a joke to put his name on it.
It was not. I called him up and he seemed very sincere. He seemed very, very eager about it. I don't think he was, according to him, he wasn't surprised that he won. But it was this idea that if he saw an opportunity, he went down and he's like, look, there's no other Republican that's going to file for this office. This person probably should have an opponent. Why can't that be me? I'm taking accounting classes. I can figure this out. This seems like my jam. And now he's going to get to prove it.
Well, some people do not take voting as seriously as you or this guy do, because I'm just going to say their write-in votes seem to be a little bit silly. Now, occasionally it could be I got in there, for example, and was told to vote for soil and water conservation representative, which I don't know if every county has this, but we do. And I knew the person I was going to vote for. I'd researched. I had failed to realize that I could select two when I went in there. So I voted for Jenna Wadsworth. I think she was the incumbent. I think she does a great job. She's run for some other offices. And then because I hadn't researched any other candidates, and you run the risk of well, what if you bubble somebody's name and then you go find out about them later? I don't know. I don't. The worst that I could think of that I could find out about them, I don't want to find out that I voted for that person. So instead, I safely wrote in a friend of mine who I think, if he were elected, would do a great job. But I didn't think my vote was...
Did he win?
But no, he did not.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, there were a lot of write-ins for soil and water conservation. All this is leading up to me to say, I have compiled, not the definitive list, because I probably missed some. Some of you probably have references that I'm too old to get, or you're too slick, you got them by me. But I looked at the 100 pages of write-in candidates in our most recent election. I just did Wake County. Every county's got their own, but they've got to compile them. And I wanted to present to you the list, including some notable sports figures. Well, that'll be our sports tie-in. Do we have any... I should have put some patriotic music or something under this. But if we've got anything patriotic, we'll play
Sousa.
that. But if not, let me just give you first for the Board of Election. All right, here are the celebrity write-ins. The Board of Elections, there were 9 different ones in Wake County, 9 different districts or whatever, but I don't even know how you vote for Board of Election. I just looked at my sample ballot, figured out who I was allowed to vote for, figured out who wanted, but I don't understand full Board of Election. But the following people got write-in votes: Barack Obama, Ben Franklin, Aubrey Drake Graham, which I believe is just Drake, which was also written in many times.
Not an American citizen.
Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump, just Trump, the name. Fred Rogers, which I believe is Mr. Rogers. Jesus Christ, Christ Jesus, just Jesus. Jesus H. Christ. Mark Twain, JFK Jr., Kanye West. Got a lot of write-in votes in a lot of different ballots. A lot of different races. We're like, man, if you could have all compiled into one race, you might have had a chance, but you were too spread out. RuPaul, Adam West, Elon Musk, Chief Keef, Mr. Cooper. I assume somebody wanted to hang with him.
Hang with Mr. Cooper. Yes.
Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh.
Steve Rogers, which I believe is Captain America.
Yes.
I'm not the comic book guy in this outfit. I was looking over to my friend Dennis Cox over there to see if he's listening. Steve Rogers, God, Jerry Garcia, Jimmy Buffett, Joe Biden, John Doe, Beyonce, Elvis, Pat McCrory, MF Doom, Willie Nelson, several votes, Bill Gates, Jordan Peterson, John Lennon, Bozo the Clown, Jerry Springer. All right, that's just Board of Elections. Now,
Jerry Springer has some electoral experience.
Yeah, he's been a mayor before.
The mayor of Cincinnati.
Random names, and some of these are either fictional characters or cartoons. Donald Duck, Joe Mama, me, not me, literally the words
like
me. Almost every race me was written in, which if you wrote me in, you don't deserve to be elected, right?
Like this is like an I am Spartacus situation?
Yes.
Like I am the Soil and Water Commissioner.
Mickey Mouse, the Disney and Sesame Street crew, they do well every year. Mickey Mouse, always in there. Nobody, no one, none of the above, no woke. Many versions of that. W.E. Coyote, which I assume was Wile E. A man by the last name Angus, who has a military name first. That I even though I would be reading literally from the Wake County Board of Elections document, I'm just going to skip this.
There's a Saturday Night Live sketch about this if you would like to know what that is.
Although this person, to be fair, did have political signs up around Raleigh. I'll show them to you later.
Thank you.
There was campaigning for this person. Zoo Monkey, Republican, Democrat, just written in the words Republican or Democrat. Who are you? Dr. Funkenstein, Principal Skinner, Yo Mama, Joe Mama, He-Man, another last name Ennis that I won't give you the rest of his name. Just his last name is E-N-N-I-S, and there's a middle initial in there, and I'm just not going to give you the rest. Someone who doesn't burn books, Elmer Fudd, Jack Sparrow, Santa. This whole thing is pointless. Walter White, Willy Wonka, Frosty, Spider-Man, Kristoff the Cat, Robot Chicken, Pedro, which I thought was cheeky. They voted for Pedro. A decent human being, always a good idea. Harambe, functional adult, Chuck Bass, or Vader, though they didn't specify if it was Darth or Big Van. So I don't know how we're going to do with that. Do any of those other ones stand out at you as notable potential leaders?
So this is like my internet riddled brain has basically done the thing where I'm like, all of these, I'm like, okay, yeah, John Doe. And they say Harambe. I'm like, oh, rest in peace. I'm like, that was a meme 10 years ago about a gorilla in a zoo. And like the amazing recall, I'm like, so there's a thing, like when I used to work in local TV news, you had to have, it's called scanner ears. And so you'd sit behind this loud scanner and there would just be police traffic all the time, like, and then you would hear structure fire. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? And so like literally I'm going through like, yeah, okay, these are good. And Harambe, hey.
All right.
Y'all talk about that gorilla? Like the one from 10 years ago?
All right, then, because we're a sports show, here are the athletes / sports figures. Although the first one's Herschel Walker,
yep,
Ric Flair, which, by the way, I'm not trying to, maybe I should do this off air. Okay. Do you have any connection with Ric Flair?
I don't. The only thing about Ric Flair that I've had is if you live in Charlotte back in the day, like basically the way that you got like your Charlotte like ID card was that you had to have some kind of encounter with Ric Flair in a very mundane situation.
I've actually got this, but go ahead.
And so yes. So like basically it was like, oh, eventually you will see Ric Flair at Harris Teeter, like trying to like look at produce. And my thing was I was driving up Woodlawn Road in Charlotte, and there was a big like Dodge Charger with a white one with a red racing stripe on it. And I look over and it's Flair, and he basically doesn't use the turn signal, but he sticks out his arm and uses the hand signal and then cuts me off. And I was like, I've arrived.
I saw him at a state high school volleyball playoff match involving his daughter playing against Durham Riverside. And he was just sitting there in the stands, and there was probably 70 people there, and Ric Flair and I were two of them.
It was, the only thing, my buddy had a better encounter, which was that he was at this place called The Lodge, which is like this little dive bar in like Charlotte, and walks up to him, and he's like, Mr. Flair, I'm a big fan of yours. Can I have your autograph? And Flair just kind of looks at him, and he puts up his hand and slowly turns away and just goes, woo.
That's better than an autograph. Than an autograph. All right, so Herschel Walker, Ric Flair, Wahoo McDaniel, football player and wrestler. That's Chief Wahoo McDaniel. LeBron James, your boy, Dick Trickle.
There he is.
Written in for Board of Education District 6. Jerry Jones, not an athlete, but the Cowboys owner. Harry Kane, who we don't like because he plays for England and we're about to play against them.
Yep.
And The Rock. All right, a couple other ones. This is for City Council at large. I'm not going to go through every single race, every single one, but other celebrities that you wrote in Wake County: Boris Johnson, Frank Zappa, John Candy, Oprah Winfrey, Stephen Colbert, Stephen Hawking, Tucker Carlson, George Bush, Gus Gusler. He owns the PR. He's rather famous. Ron DeSantis, James Earl Jones, J.D. Greer, which I thought was an interesting, and more Joe Mama. These I didn't do any repeats. So like almost everybody you saw at the Board of Education was also written in somewhere else.
Do you know what name that is notable that I did not hear, that I am shocked that I did not hear
Who's
on
that?
This list? Dale Earnhardt.
No, okay. I've got more.
Do we have a Dale?
No, but I've got more athletes.
Okay.
So Mike Krzyzewski got written in. This is city council or mayor.
He's got time.
Ron Krzyzewski.
Ron Krzyzewski?
Mike Krzyzewski, Rod Brindamore,
yes.
Tom Brady, Ted Brown, the running back, Mac, just one word, which could be Brown or
Mac
could
the
be,
Knife.
Yeah, could be the knife. Some local athletes, Will Roach and Mark Chesson. Mark Chesson punted for TCU. Will Roach played basketball for NC State. Walter Payton, Bledsoe, which could be Drew, Cam Newton, and Kevin Keats. Kevin Keats and Coach K got write-ins, but no Roy Williams or Hubert Davis. UNC fans are slacking. And finally in the random list, another Barry name. Last name starts with an MC, and I'm not going to read the rest. But again, these are all on the Wake County Board of Education, Board of Election official site. Batman, Big Bird, Beavis, and Butthead. Angry Hobbit, Cox, which I thought might mean Dennis. Many combinations of D's, D's Baker, D's Farmer, and of course the D's that you think goes with D's. Hamilton the Pig, No Taxes, Uncle Sam, Kermit the Frog, Can I Go Home, Cheese, Oscar the Grouch, Lassie, A Literal Rock, Butler, Cookie Monster, Doctor Who, Easter Bunny, Foghorn Leghorn, Goofy, Moose, which I'm hoping is the Weather Moose, and then there were two write-ins. One for a Heyes Permar. So like basically my name, but they misspelled the first name. And then another Haynes Permar, which I'm guessing are both attempts to write me in, but I don't know if the person writing them in screwed it up or the person transcribing it for the Board of Elections screwed it up. But I can't say that they voted for me because those aren't actually my names, Jeremy.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
No, thank you.
I mean, I didn't see you concede, so I guess it's still anyone's race.
Do not stop the count.
Don't.
Your vote will be counted.
But the one, like my favorite genre of all these is that the ones are like basically they're cries for help.
Yeah.
And it's like,
get me out of here.
Like the one who was like, can I go home? Like you came here on your own. Nobody's holding you here.
I even skipped over. I didn't want to get too deep into politics. But let's just say the mayor who was reelected, Mayor Baldwin, I voted for. She had some loud non-supporters, some vocal non-supporters from the time she went into office. Right? There was a whole batch of write-in votes. Anybody but Baldwin, not Baldwin, no Baldwin. It's like, literally your opportunity to vote for another person that might have beat her was right there. And instead you took the time to write in anybody but But I guess that's how it goes in
I mean,
politics
I guess,
somehow.
it's not that confusing. It's like, I don't want this person to be in this office. And I'm like, are they running against somebody? And they say yes. And like, I don't know who to vote for. Like, it is kind of a binary decision, right? Like, it's one or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. The big question and the text that I will probably get during this break is, do you believe that I am narcissistic enough to pretend to do a whole segment about write-ins, to bring up random names and funny things in sports figures, just so that I could point out that I was written in there too? If you know me well, I probably did.
I mean,